Hello, welcome to another video, and today I'm going to be ranking or tier listing the main bosses in Elden Ring pre-DLC. I think once all my DLC Shadow of the Erdtree videos are up, I'll probably do this again with the Remembrance bosses in the DLC. I was thinking about it, I was like, why not just go through it relatively quickly, not too in-depth, and just kind of give my say on certain bosses. Mind you, I've only did one clean playthrough. I've beat some of the bosses twice now in a different playthrough. So take this with a grain of salt. Obviously, I haven't played all these bosses all multiple times. So I'm probably not the most qualified to talk about this. But here is the tier list. I have it as S, A, B, C, and Mist. We will just do this nice and quickly. As I completely missed Fortisax in my playthrough. I had no idea that whole area was a thing until after the game. I tried to kind of make it work after I beat the game to see if I could face him, but it wasn't working. So I couldn't face him, so he's in Mist. I also don't think I'd feel great about putting any boss fight in D tier, just because it doesn't feel like any boss fight's that bad. To start, I think this is the Glintstone dragon that you have to fight right before the very end of Ronnie's quest. I will say I do not like dragon fights at all in this game. Anytime I'm sitting here B or C, and I'll probably put it in B for now. Mind you, at the end I might move a few. Yeah, it's a dragon fight. Didn't love it. All the dragon fights in Elden Ring, I could go without doing, personally. I don't know. Next up, Estelle. I did beat Estelle I think early from where I was, because I did I just zoomed through Ronnie's quest line. It was a fun fight. I liked the arena. The design and everything is pretty goddamn crazy. Its moveset isn't anything insane. I will say the only kind of crappy part was playing as a strength build and focusing on the head. It would make it kind of hard at times to hit them, but overall I think it's a good fight. I think I'd put it on low A, high B if I had in that area. I'll put it in A for now. The Draconic Tree Sentinel before Lindell, it is kind of a level check, skill check. I would put him in B. I'll put him above the dragon. It's alright. It's nothing crazy. I like that it's a variant of the Tree Sentinel. It's more tanky. It's definitely harder, but it makes sense for it to be somewhat of a skill gap type of thing. I'm just going also through this in this order, because next is Elden Beast. Maybe I'll do Radagon right after. Jeez. I actually really didn't like Elden Beast. It just seemed like a very kind of ending. It seemed a little weird out of nowhere in certain ways. Its moveset isn't anything too crazy, but again, it's a beast kind of fight like the dragon, which I absolutely just did not like at all. So I'm gonna put Elden Beast in C, and I'll put Radagon at B above the dragon. Because Radagon's part, it's hard, but it's very... you can learn it relatively quickly, and it's fluid and fun. I find the human bosses are the more kind of feel like a dance kind of thing, where the beast ones, it's they're going to do a giant AoE. You get to a certain spot, and then you go and you poke him in the foot, and I didn't love it. The fire giant, he's better than the dragons. He's got so much health. He definitely was I think he might have been the first boss that was really damn hard in a string of bosses that are really damn hard. But again, he's just so big that it's fighting just some giant monster, which I don't love it as much as humanoid fights. Gideon, I'm going to just put it C. I don't know. This could be... I've heard that Gideon can be really difficult depending on your build. As a strength build with the Giant Hunt Ash of War, I literally just abused him with the Ash of War and it was over. I don't think he even touched me. So I'm sure it could be viewed differently, but I'm Gideon's whatever to me. Godfrey, Definitely S tier. First S tier. I think Godfrey might honestly be my favorite fight in the game. I like the phase 2 transition. He's a badass. I like the difference between phase 1 and phase 2, kind of like how you fight him. They're very opposites of each other kind of thing, and it feels like a fair fight, and he is an absolute badass, which adds to it. If just being honest, the aesthetic and everything with him is just so goddamn cool. I love Godfrey. That's probably my favorite boss fight in Elden Ring base game. Next one, Godric. This one's tough. Just because, like, he's really easy, but it is interesting. Like, I'll put him low A, I think. Yes, he's way easier than Margit, but he does cut his own arm off with a full cutscene and attach a dragon to his arm and then uses it. Very creative. I enjoyed that. I liked it. I think considering it fair is a little, because you can cheese him really easily, and he really is, a pushover of a boss for a lot of people. It's a fun early fight after you get past Margit, I would say. Next, Godskin Duo. This one's really hard for me because I somehow beat this first try, and it was like, I don't know if I was just got lucky, good RNG and whatnot. I think for a gang fight, like, it can't be that high because it's a gang. Like, gang fights in all, there's not really many, obviously, but I'm just watching or seeing any from FromSoft games, they look terrible to deal with. And I think I just purely got lucky with the Godskin Duo. I think I'll put it in B, maybe above Radagon. If I had to, I'm thinking that. It could very well be worse than both of these ones, actually thinking about it. Just because, like, the fact of it being a gang fight, if you weren't running a strength build like I'm running, that you can just jump heavy until you get staggers, do the stagger, which you can't get hit during, stuff like that. There's ways to make this easier. I know sleep pods work really well on them. I didn't do any of that kind of stuff. I think I simply got good RNG, what moves they used and everything like that. And my build, I think, was good for it. So Loretta, by the time I fought Loretta, I was like done the game almost and was just trying to like get through the Haligtree part of it kind of thing. And her run back absolutely sucked, in my opinion. So I'm putting her higher C, I think. The run back sucked. The fight is what it is, sure. She's on a horse. You can't have a horse. She has magic too. She hits really hard. It's like a difficult boss. I don't know. I didn't fully love that fight to me. Next, Malekith. This one is borderline S. I'm going to put him in A for now because some of the first phase moves, I just, like, getting thrown with quicksand and shit was pissing me off way more than it should have been. But every part of this fight is so cool. Malekith just looks cool. The design of the arena. I enjoy when there is two phases in a fight, and when it's half health phase, not you do the whole bar and then phase 2, you have another full fight ahead. Some people definitely will disagree with that. I don't know. I like the half health type of thing because then it feels like, okay, they are halfway dead. They're pulling out their their final form, essentially, kind of thing. Margit, I'm gonna put A tier. I liked the Margit fight. It definitely is like a legit skill gap hump for everyone in this game. Realistically, he was the first big bad boss. He's definitely harder than Godric, stuff like that. And I do think that how it was designed was perfectly with Margit, where it's like you have to beat him to move on. Realistically, you don't have to. I know, but just normal casual players, it's you beat him and then you move on. You'll probably get beat up by him, and then you have the whole area of Limgrave to go and explore, get better, and come back to it. It's a really good like teaching thing that Elden Ring just has in the game right away, right from the start, to tell you this is open world. If you're stuck, go do something to get better and then come back, kind of thing. Oh, Malenia. I'll put you in S for now. I feel like you and Malekith could switch spots. Some of her moves do suck, I also, just saying, I use Mimic, Strength build for all this. It was my first playthrough, so I know I experience a lot of these fights differently than a lot of other people did. But I do think Millennia's fight is really good. I think it could be better. I will say the healing absolutely sucks. So much of her fight is designed to, like, purely for difficulty and to just make it suck for you. The fact that it's two full phases and every time she hits you she heals is tough. Absolutely. Her moveset you can learn, it's not impossible. It's not something crazy like Consort of Radon, even though I know you can learn that too. But I think for having her as like the secret hardest boss, it's really good. And again, I love the design of the fight and everything. The phase 2 when she goes in her final form and it feels like you're fighting a demigod when you're fighting Millennia, and it's pretty goddamn badass. Next is Moog. Moog. I'm gonna put Moog in A for now. I like the fight. I love the aesthetic. I love so much about like his Lord of Blood BS kind of thing. Like it is like scary and whatnot. I don't know if it's just me. I don't know. Parts of the fight feel unmemorable for me, while other parts feel super memorable. So like I don't think I want to put him in S tier, but it's definitely one of the better boss fights in Elden Ring, 100%. We have some real good ones coming up, actually. Morgott. Basically, Margit's phase 2. I really enjoyed this fight. I think I'll put... I don't want to overdo S tier, so I'm going to put Margit top of A. Yes, ahead of Malekith. I did really enjoy the Morgott fight, sorry. I liked the reveal. I liked the little explanation with the story as well. That's kind of tied in. I like that you're literally right at the foot of the Erd tree. Stuff like that. His moveset is pretty good. He kind of has a phase 2. Even though, it's not crazy different, but he does. A lot of the Morgott fight I do really enjoy. Placidusax. Dude. See, this is crazy. I want to put it in S, and I think I'm going to. And I know that's crazy because I said I absolutely hate dragon fights. But he's kind of different in ways. He doesn't act like the other dragons in Elden Ring. I know he's an ancient dragon. He uses lightning. He's... It looks like so much spectacle with this. Like it makes you want to be like, oh, wow, this shit's hitting the fan when you're fighting him, which it 100% does. Yeah, he has some moves that piss me off. Yeah, you sit at his ass most, like when you hit him that way, which always to me is like not as exciting of a fight, rather than like fighting Godfrey and you're in his face, you dodge, hit, you time it, I don't know. With Placidusax and all the dragons, realistically, it just feels like it's more poking their ass end than a lot of the other fights. But everything around his fight is absolutely S tier. How to get there, the fact is like frozen or back end, it's super cool. 100% Placidusax, one of the best fights. Oh, Radon. Radon is going in S tier. You know what? I'm going to put him at number 2, I think. Mainly just because the festival, I know the fact of like, you can summon all these people. I think that adds to it personally. Just the fact of like, this is how insanely badass this character is. They show you through the gameplay and they tell you, like, it's both. It's not like, they tell you he's an absolute strongest demigod and then you fight him and it's, I don't know, just a very a fire giant type of fight where just you and him, you just meet him out there and you go in and fight him kind of thing. It's like, yeah, there's a bunch of other people there to fight him too. He's doing this all the time. He's on this giant empty desert that he's just crawling around eating people. Like he is perceived as such a badass, and he definitely is. I will say, as a boss fight, it can feel a little weird that you're fighting him with all these summons. It's pretty damn cool. It's another really hard one, playing Elden Ring for the first time. I don't even know why that was a remembrance boss or anything. I fought that way late in the game but it's because I couldn't have cared less. I didn't have no real idea what was going on to get to this fight. I couldn't have cared less. I don't think I'm the only one that thinks that. It wasn't very hard. Feels out of place. I don't know. I was not driving with this fight at all. I know it's my own pet moose that I keep in the backyard, but not that fun. Renala, I'm going solid B tier. I think that's just where she has to kind of go. She's a mage. Yeah, she summons during the fight, which is kind of, cowardly, but I mimic tier summoned every time, so who am I to talk? I don't know. I think for a mage fight, I think it's pretty good. I don't know. I think all the other ones are better. 100%. I think it's a fine fight, but I think there's so many that are just simply better fights than the Renala fight. I think it's placed at a good point in the game as well. It would kind of, I don't know, me personally, I think it would suck if he got near the end of the game and then fought her with the magic and stuff. Rykard, I'm putting Rykard in high C. I don't know. I had a mimic when I fought him with the Serpent Hunter. I don't think he even touched me. He's a gimmick fight, so it's boring a lot in that way. But high C, simply because the aesthetic of him, together we will devour the very god. Like, it's goddamn cool. So much of him's cool. The giant ass snake pulling the sword out, all that stuff makes it feel pretty crazy and cool. But it is a gimmick fight. And last but not least, we have the Tree Sentinel, who's probably the first boss that most people will fight. And I think it's only right to put him at the very tippity right up behind Margit in A tier. Mainly because it's the first thing you really see when you walk out. You go out, you try to fight him, probably get beat up really badly, do other stuff, come back to him, probably get beat up badly again. And then when you finally beat him, you think like, oh, I did this, it's so cool. And then you end up finding more of them in the capital or outside the capital and stuff like that. And you realize it's not really that big bad of a boss. I think the Tree Sentinel was the perfect open world kind of boss to put right in front of the main gate. I think if it was a dragon or something, it would kind of suck. I honestly, I do just think the Tree Sentinel, perfect design to have that type of boss where it was. Honestly, I don't think I want to really change it. Radahn was a badass. I wore his armor pretty much all of it. Godfrey was my favorite fight since I did it the first time, pretty much. Millennia, it's a badass fight. It's super hard, but it's so rewarding once you beat it. Placidusax, great dragon fight. I hate all other dragon fights. This one is really good. One change, I'm going to move this one because this one really did piss me off down to C, but behind Rykard could, honestly, I'm going to do that. He is a gimmick fight though. Fuck that. I'm leaving him at C. These are definitely my 4 favorite bosses though. Either from gameplay to aesthetic-y kind of thing, and that all mixed together. I think these 4 are my favorite. And I don't think I'm probably alone. I think a lot of people would have these 4 in like the higher end of their bosses as well. I think a lot of people would have the bottom ones that I have near the bottom. I'm sure people are a little upset that I put Godric as high as I did, but I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool. But that is going to do it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to leave a comment on what you think the Elden Ring base game bosses would go. Which ones you agree with, whatever ones you don't agree with, whoever's your favorite, whoever's your least favorite. Mainly just remembrance bosses, if I'm being honest. I know there's some non-remembrance bosses on here, but ones you have to beat to progress. But consider subscribing. It helps the channel a bunch. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video and want to see more Elden Ring videos or rankings or anything like that. I'll see you guys on Friday. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.